Hi, I'm Lucy, 28 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that changed my life forever. You know those moments when life feels like it's moving in slow motion, like everything around you is calm and quiet, but inside you're dealing with something huge. That's exactly how it felt when I arrived at this little village surrounded by endless green hills and the soft scent of wildflowers in the air. Life here seemed simple. People woke up early with the sunrise, worked hard, and ended their days under the stars, sharing stories over the soft glow of lanterns. It was the kind of place where nothing big ever seemed to happen, or so I thought. But this story isn't about the village itself. It's about the choices I made, the people I met, and how everything led me to a moment I never expected. It all began the day I met Jonah. He wasn't like anyone else in town. While most folks quietly went about their daily routines, Jonah was different. He had this lively energy about him, the kind that made you want to stop and listen. His voice was cheerful and strong, and his smile, it was the kind that could light up a whole room. His eyes, a bright, deep blue, reminded me of a summer sky without a single cloud. At first our meetings were brief, just a friendly smile here and a quick hello there. We passed each other in the market or near the old well, but over time those little moments turned into something more. We began spending time together, talking about everything, our dreams, places we wanted to see, and even the things that scared us. For the first time in a long while, I felt something new, hope. There was something refreshing about how Jonah saw the world. He wasn't weighed down by the same worries most people had. He dreamed of going beyond the hills, of exploring the world outside our quiet village. And for a while, I let myself get lost in those dreams too. We'd sit by the river, imagining what life might be like in far-off cities with tall buildings, or tiny towns where no one knew our names. But as I got to know Jonah better, I noticed something. There was a sadness in him, a quiet kind of weight he carried. He didn't talk about it at first, but over time he opened up. He told me about his past. He had been married once, but things hadn't worked out. His wife left years ago, taking their little boy with her. Even after all this time, Jonah still held on to the hope that they might come back one day. Hearing that was hard. It hurt in ways I didn't expect. Part of me wanted to walk away right then. Why put myself in a situation where I'd always be second to someone who wasn't even there anymore? But another part of me couldn't let go. Jonah made me feel special in a way no one ever had. He made me laugh. He listened when I needed to talk, and he believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I tried to tell myself it was fine. I thought maybe I could live in the moment and not think about what might happen later. But deep down, I knew I wanted more. I wanted someone who would choose me completely, without hesitation or doubt. One afternoon, Jonah and I went for a walk in the woods, just outside the village. The air was crisp, and the leaves crunched under our feet as we wandered along a narrow path. We stopped by a little stream, and Jonah picked up a flat stone, turning it over in his hand before skipping it across the water. "I didn't think I'd ever meet someone like you," he said quietly, his eyes on the rippling water. "You make everything feel better." I wanted to believe him, I really did, but something inside me felt uneasy. "Do you think they'll ever come back?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he watched the ripples fade before finally speaking. "I don't know, but I can't stop hoping." That was the moment I knew things couldn't keep going like this. I couldn't keep waiting for something that might never happen. I deserved to be with someone who could choose me wholeheartedly. Pretending it didn't matter wasn't fair to Jonah or to me. I spent the next few days thinking about what to do. I talked to my closest friends, hoping they'd have some magical advice to fix everything. But deep down, I knew what they would say. They reminded me that I deserved someone who could love me completely. It wasn't easy to hear, but I knew they were right. During those days, I kept myself busy. I helped at the market, spent time with the children in the village, and even took long walks on my own. Anything to clear my head. Every time I saw Jonah from a distance, my heart ached. But I knew that something had to change. I couldn't keep living in this uncertain place, always wondering if I was enough. One evening, while helping an elderly neighbour tend to her garden, I found myself lost in thought again. She noticed and gave me a gentle smile. "Sometimes the hardest thing is knowing when to let go," she said softly. Her words stayed with me that night as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Finally, I decided it was time to have an honest conversation with Jonah. We met by the big oak tree on the edge of the village. The sun was setting and everything around us was bathed in a warm, golden light. I took a deep breath and told him everything, how I felt, how I couldn't keep waiting, and how I needed more than just a few happy moments. I needed a real future. Jonah listened quietly. When I finished, he reached out and took my hand. "I care about you so much," he said softly. "But I can't give you what you need. I can't let go of the past." His words broke my heart, but at the same time they gave me clarity. For so long I had been waiting for Jonah to make a decision. But now I realized it was my turn. With tears in my eyes, I told him goodbye. The days after that were tough. I missed him more than I thought I would. But bit by bit, I started feeling better. I focused on my work, spent more time with friends, and began thinking about my future again. Slowly I realized something important. I didn't need Jonah to be happy. I needed to find happiness within myself. One morning, while walking through the village square, I bumped into someone new. His name was Elias. He had a calm, kind presence that immediately put me at ease. We started talking, and soon enough, we were spending a lot of time together. He listened to me, really listened, and I found myself opening up in ways I hadn't before. With Elias, there were no questions or doubts. He chose me, and I chose him. And in that choice, I found a kind of love I hadn't known before, a love built on trust, honesty, and respect. As our relationship grew, I noticed something different about myself. I was more confident, more at ease with who I was. I started setting goals for myself, things I wanted to do and places I wanted to see. Elias encouraged me every step of the way. He didn't just support my dreams, he shared them. Looking back now, I see how meeting Jonah changed me. He taught me what kind of love I wanted and deserved. And in the end, walking away from him was the best thing I could have done for myself. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Now, as I watch the sun rise over the hills, I feel a deep sense of peace. I'm not waiting for someone to choose me anymore. I've chosen myself, and in doing that, I found a love that's real and true. And this time, I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be.